Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our dear sisters. So this was the translation of the message that she sent to me. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. She was saying that she's working for a family, a sort of speaking family in Johannesburg, whom she suspected that they did Ukutwala rituals, and she was saying that she's being given extra pay to feed creatures that she can't even see. So the translation reads like this. Hello, how are you, my brother? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? My name is Tariro, not a real name. So I am a maid. I am from Zim, and I am working for a Sotho-speaking family here in Johannesburg. I came to South Africa. When I came here, this was after I had broken up with my husband, and I saw that life was not treating me right when I was still back home in my country. But I never imagined that I would find myself trapped in something that was this dark and terrifying. It started off like any normal job. The family that I was working for seemed kind enough. They were doing things for me, things that I never thought that when you are working for someone, they can be so kind. The moment that I started working for them, I can say that I only worked for them for only about 3 days. And in those 3 days that I worked for them, then they gave me some money because they asked me how much I was going to send to my parents, like on a monthly basis. That was when I told them, and after I had told them the amount that I'll be sending to my mom, then when I went to work on the third day, that was when I saw that there was a brown envelope with my name that was written on it. And then they told me that as a family, they had a meeting the previous night, and then they thought that it was far much better for them to pay me in advance. So I only worked for 3 days. Then they gave me a full month's salary. I was so happy. They paid me well, more than most people I know earn as domestic workers, because the people that I know usually they are getting somewhere between 3,600 rands to 5,000, those that are being paid well. Brother Nashi, if I tell you that I am working as a domestic worker, so without me being given a bonus, the money that I am earning, it is close to 6,800 rands a month. Then they give me monthly bonuses, so it depends with how much they want to give me. So usually after they would have given me a bonus, I'll see that the money that I would have earned throughout that month, it will be close to 10 or plus 10,000 rands. So that is how much I am making just working as a domestic worker. So it started off like any normal job. The family that I was working for, they told me that even though they were going to pay me so much, but this was not just for cleaning or cooking. It was going to be for feeding, something that they said, something that I could not even see. So they took me to the back of the room. This was after a week when I had been working for this family. They took me to that back room, and then they told me that all that I was supposed to do was to put some food in there. It was for feeding something that I could never see. So there is a small back room at the house. They told me that I had to make pap and beef each and every day. So before I cook the pap and the beef, I take a pot and I make sure that I wash it. I have to wash it 3 times. The first time when I am washing the pot that I will be using to cook pap and beef, the first time I use it using your normal liquid soap, your dishwasher soap. Then after that, then I wash it not using any soap at all. Then the third time I have to boil some water, and after I would have boiled the water, then I will take that water, no soap, nothing. Then I wash that pot. Then I start cooking. So after, when I am done cooking, then as for the beef, I am not supposed to put any spices or anything. It is just stew, but without tomatoes, onions, or anything. Just normal beef with a lot of soup, no salt, no what. And when I am cooking, I am not supposed to even taste the food that I will be eating. So this is what I do each and every day, and I go to that back room and I leave it there. At first, I thought that it was one of their relatives or maybe a secret visitor, but no one ever came to that room, at least not while I was still around. The strange part was that every day I would clean the room, scrub it spotless, but the next morning it would be dirty again. The pap and beef would have been eaten because I always leave 2 traditional plates. So in another plate, that is where I place the beef. Then in another plate, that is where I placed the pap. But the next morning when I come to work, when I start working in that back room, then I'll see that there won't be no trace of food and no trace of anyone who had been there. I did not question it at first. I thought that maybe this is some strange South African culture. I thought that maybe it was just some odd family custom. But then I started to hear voices. These voices that I started hearing, they were soft at first, like whispers in the walls. But as the days went on, they grew louder and louder. So sometimes in the middle of the night, I can hear footsteps outside of the back room. But when I look, no one will be there. The air in that house will be feeling so heavy, like something, like a ghost that will be watching me. This is what I have been feeling. And each and every time when I go to work, when I want to pray, I just feel so lazy to pray and scared. The reason as to why I feel so scared, there was this other time when I prayed whilst I was at work. I don't know how my boss got to know that I was praying at work. That man, he rushed back from work. He's working in the government. And when he came back, he was angry at me, even though he did not want to tell me the truth that he knew that I had been praying. He just gave me some silly excuses and then he returned back to work. So since that day, I am scared to even pray, because when I pray, I have terrible dreams. I have tried to ignore this feeling, but the fear, it keeps on building up. Then there was this other day, they told me that they wanted to go to a vacation, so I was supposed to stay at their house. So I was not staying in the main house. At the back, there is another back room, so I was sleeping in that back room. Fortunate enough, Brother Nanshi, I had brought my boyfriend because I was so scared. So I spoke with him and I sneaked him in. I had to go and lock up the dogs because they have these vicious dogs. So my boss did not know that I had my boyfriend with me. So when I had sneaked him in, I said, let me clean. But then when I was cleaning, that was when I saw something that was moving in the corner of that room. It was dark, shadowy, and very fast, too fast for me to see what exactly it was. My heart raced, but I convinced myself that it was just my imagination. And then the following morning, so what we do in the area where we are working as maids, during our lunch break, because we go on our lunch break at 11 a.m., usually we go outside, then we'll be sitting and we'll be just gossiping. So right next door, there is this other woman who is also working as a maid, but she's a South African woman, but she's working for this other Chinese couple. So this woman then asked me if I had noticed anything strange at the house where I am working. I told her about the voices and the back room. That was when she looked at me with fear in her eyes and told me that something that made my blood to run cold. She said that before I came to work for this family, there was another maid, she said, a maid that was not South African, who was a Malawian woman. She claimed that this woman had seen a Tokoloshe. It was a small, terrifying creature. This Malawian maid had tried to tell other people about it, but no one even believed her. And then she said she died shortly after she had been given a huge sum of money whilst she was preparing to go to a country in that location where she was staying. That was when she died under very strange circumstances. They said she had became ill, but this woman believed that it was something more, something connected to the creature that I saw in that house. After hearing that, I was more terrified than ever. I realized that the extra money I was being paid was for feeding this creature, this thing I could not see. And now the problem is that I hear voices. These voices, like, they are now clear, as if there is someone that will be whispering in my ears. Sometimes I can even hear 1,000 people as if they will be calling out my name all at once. At night, I can even feel something moving, even when I am in the location where I am staying. I want to leave, but I am scared. The family that I work for acts like everything is normal, like they don't know what is happening in their home, but I can't shake the feeling that they know. Maybe they know and they want to kill me. I am afraid of what might happen to me. What if I end up like that maid from Malawi? Please help me. I don't know what to do. And these people, they are giving me a lot of money. I spoke about this with one of my friends. So she is the one that I am staying with in the location. She just said, why don't you work at least for about 5 months? Then you raise enough money, maybe 50,000 rands. If I can manage to raise that money, then I go back home and I start a small business, I don't know if I will be able to survive, because I was planning that from now, maybe I can work, then I'll come back next year and I work again until somewhere around April. Please help me out. I'll be following through in the comment section. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our sisters, and that was the translation of the message that she sent to me.